Oh, legends, we've got a He-Man episode written by the great Paul Dini, and this one is the environmentalist episode of the series so far. Legends, welcome back to Coins Age Media. I am Rodney Stewart, and this is, of course, He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. Again, this episode is called Quest for He-Man, and on the back of the box, and I've been practicing my reading, Skeletor's diabolical plan to trap He-Man works, and the most powerful man in the universe is left without a memory and his true powers, and is banished to a different dimension. Now powerless, He-Man finds himself in a world on the verge of utter destruction thanks to the evil Plundar, the spoiler. Now, sorry about that jump cut. I was just running to grab my notes there, just jotted down a couple of things to keep track of here. At the beginning of the episode, the palace is attacked to draw He-Man out, and there's a trap waiting that's been set by Skeletor, and it temporarily traps He-Man, and Skeletor uses a spell to wipe He-Man's memory and then transports him to a different dimension to get him out of the way. Foolproof plan, basically. But of course we have the sorceress, so the heroes, the remaining heroes, go to see her. Man-at-Arms, Ram Man, Orko, and she says she knows someone that may know what's happened. A guy called Zodak, rider of the cosmic space waves. So she calls him, he appears, and he tells Orko that he's the one that has to go find He-Man, and gives him a magic wand that says this will help you find him, and when you get him, talk to him about home, and it might bring his memories back. And of course we're all thinking we're in trouble here. If Orko's magic is what's going to save the day, big problems ahead. So the heroes all jump into the space portal, and off they go to different dimensions to try and find He-Man. Over on the planet where he's actually landed, his memory's completely gone. It's called Tratus, if I actually heard it right. The sound mix in this episode wasn't fantastic, and my ears are kind of ringing from work anyway. When He-Man meets a woman slash chicken rooster, sort of eagle headed sort of a creature, like human body, female body, and like a eagle's head, and her name is Gladel. She attacks him, and then realizes, she thinks, is this a villain of some sort? I haven't seen this guy before. Is he one of Plundar's people? And she attacks him, but then she realizes, he's obviously a stranger, and his memory's completely gone. He hasn't a clue where he came from, so she decides to help him. But on this planet, Plundar is watching on a monitor in his headquarters, pretty much the same way Skeletor would be doing in Eternia, and he's like a giant rabbit. That's quite a random episode, but it's been written by the great Paul Dini. Like, the man is amazing in the stuff that he writes, and this one here is out there, no doubt about that. But if his name is attached as writer on an episode, doesn't matter what it is, chances are it's going to be great, and this episode did not disappoint at all. Obviously the Plundar, the spoiler, wants to get hold of He-Man. He thinks I can put this guy to good use, and he sends his droids in to bring him to his factory. We get a backstory of what happened to the planet. The whole planet's dying, and it's all because of this giant factory that Plundar has built. And basically what he's done in this episode. His whole story arc is he's found a way of taking the entire life force of the planet and turning it into a liquid that he can sell. So he's a villain, but not a villain in the Skeletor sort of a villain where he wants to dominate the entire universe. This guy is a businessman, essentially, and basically what he's doing is he's killing this planet so he can make money off its life force. It is the environmentalist episode, and speaks well into today's culture at the minute, because there's a lot of talk about this actually going on, like the rainforests and whatnot dying, and the Amazon on fire and whatnot, and just like big business is not giving a damn about the environment. Basically, like, this is nothing new what we're hearing today. I'm 40 years old now. I was hearing it as a child back in 1983 in this episode of He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. But basically by the end of the episode, Plundar offers He-Man to come and join him. He can't remember who he is, but he knows enough about himself to know that what this guy is doing is wrong. So, Plundar is like, well, you can spend the rest of your life in my dungeon then. And just then, of course, the rest of the heroes, Orko, Ram Man and Cringer, break into the factory, and there's a little bit of a fight between them and the droids. And Orko remembers what Zodak said, talk to He-Man about home, maybe it'll bring his memory back. And so of course Orko gets He-Man to raise the Sword of Power in the air. If you're going to talk about home, where else do you feel more at home than Castle Grayskull? So raise the sword, say by the power of Grayskull, and He-Man does that, and you get the intro sequence again where he changes to He-Man, and the blast of electricity runs through him, and bloop, his memory returns. So yes, at this point he blasts Cringer, turns him into Battle Cat, goes to town on Plundar's droids, and just wrecks everything. And Plundar at the end is like, they're not going to get their hands on this life force liquid that I have spent so much time draining this planet off to get my hands on. So he loads it into a rocket and about to shoot it into space, and He-Man jumps in the rocket, off he goes off it and knocks it out. It explodes and basically brings life back to the entire planet. So that's pretty much the end of the episode right there. He-Man gets his memory back, he saves this entire planet, and Plundar is put to work as a prisoner, dismantling his factory. And at the end of the episode we've got a PSA. There's no shocks here. This is the environmental episode after all, and it's basically a message from Zodak about natural resources being wasted, and we need to think more about our environment and how we're treating animals and everything that's involved. In the episode you seen that there was countless species of animals that had gone extinct because of what was happening on this planet, and this is actually happening in real life. Like, you've just watched a cartoon, but in real life the exact same thing is happening right now, and the only way we can stop it is by starting to make small changes. So yes, that was it for this episode. It was very, very random and very entertaining. Like, the planet He-Man lands on is very cartoonish, and like, it's a cartoon I'm talking about, but the universe they have built for themselves so far in the series, as far as Eternia and everything around that is involved, this little planet here is very, like, the creatures you see in it are something that you would come across in like a random little Disney cartoon or something. Beautiful little episode, and again, Paul Dini wrote it. You're in for a solid gold treat if that man is writing an episode.